Let us pray. Almighty and all-wise God, your grace and your power sustains and supports all that is. You are our constant sustainer. And in addition, you are always creating new things. During this beginning of this new academic year, we ask your grace and your power to sustain what we are about here. And we ask your blessing upon our educational mission, which you have given to us. Bless our speaker. Bless every student and faculty member here, every staff member. Grant us grace and power to be about your work in your world. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Miller and Union Harmony. How many of you have a cell phone this morning? All right, could you just take a moment, please, to silence that, or a tablet or anything that goes beep in the quiet? Thanks very much. Good morning to everyone, and welcome to Spring Convocation, or I guess this is Fall Convocation, isn't it? Fall Convocation. It's been quite a morning, I should say. I don't know how it's been for you, but it's been quite a morning. I'm pleased that we begin each semester with Convocation, and it's an opportunity for us to gather for a few moments as a community and to reaffirm the values that we cherish most as a college. These are the values that we build our life upon here at Union: celebration, integrity, responsibility, civility, lifelong learning, engagement, and spirituality. If these words sound familiar, it's because we just affirmed those a few days ago at our circle ceremony. Throughout the last year, many of these values have been compromised, challenged, and even dismissed in our wider national life. Simple and common things like decency and civility and telling the truth have become less common and more polarizing. So without a doubt, what we're doing at Union College is more important today than ever. We are building a community where we show respect to each other, where we, regardless of background or belief system, honor each other, where we honor the life of the mind, asking questions and pursuing what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. Circles is not just an idea for us, it's the way we choose to live our life. These values are strong enough to support this college, and they're strong enough for us to build our lives upon. I'd like to just take a moment to introduce the folks who are on the platform with me this morning. Dr. Marcia Hawkins, President of Union College, Reverend David Miller, College Minister, Ms. Rachel Andrews, Student Government Association Vice President of Athletics, Barton Darrel, President of Kentucky Wesleyan College, and I'm David Johns, Vice President of Academic Affairs and Dean of the College. Do we have any trustees or special visitors with us this morning? If so, would you take a moment to stand? Thank you. I'd like to ask Rachel to come.
Good morning, and welcome back to the campus for the 2017-2018 academic year. I hope that your summer was filled with relaxation, new experiences, and great times with family and friends. As we begin our fall semester, use this time for exploration and finding yourself. Take this time to go on adventures. Take a trip to the Cumberland Falls or take a trip to Chain Rock. Spend your evenings at campus life events, sporting events, or even go out with your friends and try the famous Mexican food. To the freshmen, I guarantee you that your years here will fly by. I still remember the anticipation from the moment I decided to attend Union until arriving on campus. It was an extraordinary feeling, but also very nerve-wracking. Starting in a new environment can cause a great growth in your life, allowing you to become the person you truly want to be. In the coming weeks, as you get to know the campus and the people associated with it, I hope that you take a moment to reflect that your development not only lies academically. You will grow as athletes, artists, and citizens of the community. You will gain relationships with peers, coaches, and staff that will be life-changing. During our time here at Union, I hope that each and every one of you reach your dreams. Whether you want to be a doctor, physical therapist, educator, or engineer, Union provides you with opportunities to perform to the best of your ability. Use your years here at Union to explore yourself and help you reach new heights. I hope that everyone has a great fall semester and that you accomplish the things that you once believed to be impossible. Go Bulldogs!
I needed higher heels this morning. Maybe I can do this. Barton Darrel graduated from Kentucky Wesleyan College in 1984. He earned his Juris Doctor from the University of Louisville Brandeis School of Law in 1987. He was a partner with the firm Bell, Orr, Ayers, and Moore in Bowling Green, practicing law for over 25 years. He provided legal representation for school districts throughout Kentucky, including the Daviess County Public Schools and the Warren County Public Schools, serving as general counsel. He was inducted into the American College of Trial Lawyers, where membership is limited to no more than 1% of the lawyers in any one state. In 1984, he was named Outstanding Young Lawyer by the Kentucky Bar Association. He was recognized as one of the 40 new leaders for the 21st century by the Louisville Courier-Journal, the Lexington Herald-Journal, and the Shakertown Roundtable. He received the Gwen Davis Award from the Bowling Green Warren County Bar Association for his commitment to public service and community spirit. He received the Clara Barton Honor Award for meritorious volunteer leadership from the American Red Cross. President Darrel serves on many boards throughout Western Kentucky. He's a founding director of the board of the Southern Kentucky Performing Arts Center, chairman of the board for the American Red Cross, a member of the Governor's Advisory Council for Volunteer Services, and a member of the Board of Leadership Kentucky. He was appointed by the governor to serve on Kentucky's Council on Post-Secondary Education and served as its vice chair in 2004. He's a past president of the Bowling Green Warren County Bar Association and chair-elect of the Greater Owensboro Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. And he serves with me on the board of the National Association of Schools and Colleges of the United Methodist Church. Mr. Darrel became the 34th president of Kentucky Wesleyan College, his alma mater, on September 16, 2014. And he has participated in 9 marathons, including New York, Chicago, and Boston. And as a former basketball player, believes he has the best jump shot of all college presidents in the country. Please welcome Kentucky Wesleyan's head Panther, President Bart Darrel.
I don't know who set that in. Students, I have my timer on, so don't worry, okay? There we go. Well, Dr. Hawkins, thank you sort of for that introduction. I don't know who sent it in, but they'll pay dearly. Esteemed faculty, it's an honor to be in your presence, and I salute you for all that you do. To the staff of Union College, thank you. I know at Kentucky Wesleyan that you do the heavy lifting and you make all this possible, so I salute you as well. And to the students, it is a thrill to be with you. And since Dr. Hawkins brought up marathoning, we'll start with that. But I'm going to tell you there's 3 things I want to talk with you about this morning, and this is, of course, really I'm going to be focusing on you students. There's 3 things I want you to try to take away from this. Number 1, do not, as you go through this year, assume that you know everything about your classmates. Don't assume anything about them. Number 2, it's more important for you to be great than to be right all the time. I want you to remember that. And lastly, it's great to have a plan, but don't turn it into a court order. And we'll get to that, what that means. First of all, don't assume you know everything about your friends. Again, we brought up marathons, so I'll start with that. In 1997, I decided I wanted to start running marathons. It wasn't real smart. Any runners in here? Yeah, okay, well, you're going to get this. My first marathon I trained for 18 weeks. I'd done everything correctly in my mind. I went to New York City to run the New York Marathon. I actually had somebody who got me in on the elite runners bus to go out to Staten Island. And I didn't realize how bad an idea that was till I got on there. And I'm on the bus with all the elite runners from Kenya, Ethiopia, Mexico, all over the world. And they're wearing shirts that say sponsored by Nike, Reebok, New Balance. I was about a foot taller than all of them, and my shirt said sponsored by Check's Pool Hall, Bowling Green, Kentucky. I didn't fit in. I started on the 3rd row of the New York Marathon because a friend of mine who helped run it got me in there. And when they shot the cannon off, I realized I did not need to start running the marathon. I need to get out of the way. And I ran to the right of the bridge out there and let the real runners run. But as the marathon went along, I felt really good about myself. And I felt better and better about myself as I went along. And I thought the runners around me were all inferior to me because I was passing just about all of them, about the 18-mile mark, all the people in my grouping. And just at the height of my arrogance, something happened. I was passed by a guy running the New York City Marathon wearing a 7-feet-tall hard-shell rhinoceros suit. Picture that one, runners. Now, I did beat the rhinoceros, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be telling you about it to begin with. My point is, this person turned out to be running a marathon a month all over the world to raise money for Save the Rhinos. But I would never have placed him in a category of somebody I could learn something from or who could beat me. In my law career, as Dr. Hawkins said, I represented quite a few school districts in Kentucky. About 15 years ago, one of the school districts that I represented started a new school. It was called the Lighthouse Academy down in Warren County. These schools are a lot of places now, but one of the reasons for this school was to help kids who, because of socioeconomics, maybe there's some other issues, they just don't fit in well in a traditional high school, and there's a decent chance they're going to drop out. So the idea was to let the students who applied and accepted go to school for half a day at the Lighthouse Academy, and then work the other half of the day or go to some type of other education to help change their lives. I went to that graduation because I just wanted to see what it was all about. It was at an elementary school. There were 5 kids in the graduating class. 5. Now there are about 120 each year. The graduation was held in an elementary school gym, about 50 people there, and it was much, though, like graduations you probably had. Everybody got a diploma. They gave out the math award, the science award, the English award, that kind of thing. And at the end, we were going to be dismissed. Well, every kid, all 5 got an award other than their diploma except one. And we'll call him Kevin. I'll never forget him. He was a little tiny fellow who sat on the far left of the 5 chairs on the gym floor, white t-shirt, blue jeans, tennis shoes. And when we're about to be dismissed, a hand went up in the bleachers. Now, Dr. Hawkins and all of you wise professors and administrators who have had to run graduations and commencements, you know that when a hand goes up in the audience at commencement, it's not going to be really good. That's not in this program here. But with only 50 people in the whole place, the superintendent had no choice but to recognize the lady. And then it got worse. She asked a question. She asked, "May I come up there and say something?" Yeah. I went from spectator to thinking I better put my lawyer hat on now because something really bad is getting ready to go down here. And again, what choice did the superintendent have? He invited her to the podium, a lot like this one. And she stood at that podium and she looked out at us wearing her best dress. She was not a polished public speaker, and she told us the following. She said, "Kevin is my son." She said, last year he came home and told us about this new school, this Lighthouse Academy. He wanted to apply because, you see, his father's sick and he's not going to be with us much longer, and we don't have any money. And he wanted to go to school and also work and help the family. And she said, I told him no. I told him no because I wanted him to be a little boy just a little while longer, she said. She said, but he stayed on me, and against my best judgment as a mother, I let him apply, and you accepted him. And she said, he may not have won any awards today, but I want you all to know that this past year he's gone to school half days, and the other half he worked at McDonald's. He kept $25 out of every paycheck to take care of himself, and he gave the rest to the family, and I want to tell him that I love him. Now, we've often used the phrase, overused, of what you could hear a pin drop or the air left the room. Well, I will tell you, I experienced that. I witnessed it. It happened there. Because we were looking at a young man that a year before was walking the halls of a school. He wasn't on the student council. He wasn't on the basketball team. He was making C's. He was quiet. Nobody knew him. Nobody knew his heart, and nobody knew his courage. And I don't know where Kevin is today, but I can promise you this, he's doing extraordinary things. But see, nobody knew him. I challenge you this year, get to know the person sitting next to you. Get to know her. Get to know him and love each other. I promise you your life's going to be richer. You're going to discover things you can't imagine. So, do not assume that you know the person sitting next to you. Go find out. Second, don't try to be right all the time. It's okay to be wrong. I do it most of the day. But it's not okay not to want to be great. Be great. We have a young man that just graduated from Kentucky Wesleyan. last spring. His name is Keelan Cole. Any football players in here? Florida? Lucky. Keelan Cole came to Kentucky Wesleyan College out of Louisville at 5'11", 130 pounds, no scholarship offers anywhere. He walked on at our school. 4 years later, Keelan Cole, after giving in and not trying to be right and let himself be taught, Keelan Cole graduated at 6'1", 190 pounds, and signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars of the NFL. He will be on TV tonight if you don't watch Keelan. Keelan Cole, who ended up being an All-American, never forgot, ever, that it wasn't about how great he was. It's how great he could be. Big difference. His junior year, they were having two-a-day football practices, and they were between him. It was like 112 degrees. And I walked back to my office, and there were two young ladies chalking the sidewalk for sorority rush. And I looked over, and there was a guy there doing the same thing for sorority rush. It was Keelan Cole. I walked over to Keelan, and I said, Keelan, of all the people on this campus right now, you should be inside in air conditioning, resting for your next practice. Keelan just looked at me and said, they looked like they needed my help. That's the reason Keelan Cole went from nobody wanting him to the NFL. Not because of really what he did athletically. It's much more. It's here. It's here. He decided to be great and not be right all the time. I had a professor at Kentucky Wesleyan, and students, I want you to hear this one because there's some people in this room right now that are going to do this to you, and you're going to be mad at them, all right? And you're going to thank them later. But I had a professor named Arthur Chesler. I was a business major at Kentucky Wesleyan, and I had to take Arthur Chesler about 5 times. I hated that man. I thought he hated me. He would call on me in class all the time, and it didn't seem to matter what I said. I was wrong. It got to the point where people didn't even want to sit by me in his classes. They would scatter around the edge so there wasn't any guilt by association. Well, I left Wesleyan and I went to law school. And the first day, the dean of the law school came out to a podium like this, and she said, congratulations, welcome to the University of Louisville School of Law. And then she said, a third of you will be flunked out the first semester. I thought, boy, did I make a brilliant decision here. Well, then we started having to introduce ourselves to our classmates, which I heard to be our competition. And it was people like Winston Smith IV, who graduated in the top 3% of his class from Stanford, people like that. And I thought, well, what do I have? And then we started. And what I found out was that people like Mr. Smith IV have been hiding for 4 years. They've been hiding. I, like you, were challenged by professors who knew me, who knew my strengths and knew where I needed to get better. And when the law professor started picking on people, Mr. Smith IV folded up faster than a really cheap lawn chair at a really bad July 4th party at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 102-degree heat, if you can picture that one. It didn't bother me. Arthur Chesler had already beaten me up enough. I didn't flunk out, although I would say I was average in intellect. I was 10th in my class the first year, and I'm not bragging about that because I didn't get smarter. I told you where I was. But my college, Kentucky Wesleyan, like your college, Union College, will do that for you. It'll give you the advantage if you take advantage of it. After I graduated, I came back to see Professor Chesler. I went to his office. He was in the same chair, had the same smirk on his face about me. And I said, Professor, I am here for 2 reasons. First, I am here to apologize to you. I'm here to apologize to you for all of the horrible, horrible things I have hoped would happen to you. Very slowly. But seriously, I said, I'm here also to thank you. I want to thank you because now I get it. I get it. you got me ready. Because you see, Professor Chesler knew me like these professors know you. He knew I would be middle of the pack intellectually. He knew my advantage was going to have to be my toughness, and he made me tough. I learned to be a lawyer at Kentucky Wesleyan College, not my law school. And when I thanked Professor Chesler, he leaned back in his chair and he smiled at me for what I believe was the first time. And this is what he said: I knew where you wanted to go. That's what your professors will know about you. All you got to do is listen. Third, and I'm right on schedule. Third, I told you to have a plan, but don't make it a court order. And here's what I mean by that. I'll tell you a personal story second. I'll tell you a Wesleyan story first. We just graduated a young lady by the name of Jennifer Walker Crawford from Warsaw, Indiana. She was a freshman when I got to Wesleyan as president. She used to come in once a week and sit down and just talk. Always smiling, great young lady. One day she came in tears. And I knew for sure something tragic had happened, somebody had died, something like that. I said, sit down, Jennifer, what's wrong? She looked at me crying and she said, I hate chemistry. Sorry, science folks. I looked at her, I said, well, so do I. Terribly. I'd rather beat myself in the shin with a hammer than take chemistry. And she said, but I hate biology too. Sorry. I said, well, me too, then why are you pre-med? She said, because everybody told me I was smart and I could be a doctor. I said, but you hate it. She said, I hate it so much. I said, don't be a doctor, be Jennifer. Jennifer graduated with a 3.92 GPA in accounting, and was hired by Price Waterhouse, the largest accounting firm in the country, and she'll start in Charlotte, North Carolina. All because she had a plan, but she didn't make it a court order that she couldn't deviate from. Keep your eyes open. Great things can happen around you. You might miss them. This is what happened to me. If you had known me and my siblings when I was a child, there were four of us, and you said, pick one of these kids that you know for a fact will someday have 3 kids, be married, coach every little league team, they'd have picked me, because I'm the coolest kid in my family, all right? Let's be very clear about that. I'm the only one in the family for whom that didn't happen. And I always wondered why. I had this plan, and it didn't work out, it seemed. Well, then one day I met a little kid. He was 9 years old. His name was Michael Hicks. Michael had never seen or heard from his father since he was 3 months old. We were introduced, and we hit it off, and we've been tight ever since. Michael Hicks is now 19 years old. April 26th of 2016, I adopted Michael. I finally did become a father. And Michael always wanted to be a baseball player. Michael grew to 6'5", 235 pounds. Where's my baseball players in here? Yeah, okay. He's now 6'5", 235 pounds, and throws 92 miles an hour. He pitches for Western Kentucky University. And his first college game I decided to go to. I knew he wouldn't pitch because he's just a freshman, the D1 level. About 2,000 people. I'm standing down the third baseline on a deck just watching the game. In the 5th inning, the bullpen door opened up, and guess who came running out on the mound in the first game of the season? Now my son, Michael. As I watched him run up on the mound, I realized I'd been wrong about the plan I had. It was there. I just didn't have it in the right form. He'd been waiting on me, and I was waiting on him. I tried to have a different roadmap. Well, I want you to know that Michael gets on the mound, and he didn't seem nervous. I was. He threw the first pitch 90 miles an hour to a left-handed hitter off his hands. It was fouled off. The ball went right toward the stands and went right by my head. It hit the wall behind me, and I caught it. The first pitch of his college career. And it was a great play I made, by the way. Let's just get that clear. But the point is, I had it wrong because I had made a court order out of my life. Plans are fine, but look around you and make sure you don't miss something really special for yourself or for others. And the last thing I'm going to say to you, and I'm going to sit down, here is what I really want you to do this year. Go out and inspire each other. Inspire each other. You're all here. You're all led by God to be here. There's a reason you're here. Inspire each other. Get to know each other. Understand each other. Ask each other questions. There's going to be people sitting around you right now. They're going to have days so tough this year. They're going to be so down. They're going to have a hand that cannot squeeze back when you grab it, but you're going to grab it anyway. Inspire each other. Do not settle for anything less than being inspired. It's a waste of your time and your life. I want to tell you, students, you are at a great, great school. This place will get you ready. They will know who you are. And you will go out and do extraordinary things. And I have 22 seconds left. And I'm going to finish early. But I want to tell you what an honor it's been to be with you. You have inspired me just by letting me be here. I hope I've given you one thing at least that you can take with you to make you better. I know I'm better because I've been here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Darrel. Thank you, students, faculty, and staff and friends for your attention this morning and for your attendance this morning. As president of Union College, it is my privilege to proclaim the fall 2017 academic semester now in session. Yay! So go forth and learn great things and do great work and make a difference in the world. Please stand with me and join Union Harmony as we sing our alma mater. You'll find the words on the back of your program. On the back of your program. Following the alma mater, please remain standing as Reverend Miller offers the benediction. Thank you.
And for our benediction, I invite you to turn to the reading and response that's on the inside front cover of our program. And I will lead and ask you to respond. We've convened once again to remind ourselves of what it takes to be successful, effective, and ethical people. We cannot fulfill these tasks in our own strength alone, but we receive strength from each other, from God, and from family and friends who support us. We discover in accomplishing our tasks and in giving and receiving strength that we have become something more than isolated individuals. God grant us grace sufficient for our tasks. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless Union College. Amen. Amen.